Good afternoon, everybody. Um, I'm coming to you today to talk about something that's come up for me personally, um, which is, really reflecting on what stories are we telling about ourselves that don't really fit us anymore, or maybe they never really fit us, um, that we would like to change the script on. I will give you for instance. I have been known, and I identify myself as a people pleaser. I'm somebody that likes to really do for others without um, asking much for myself. I feel the story I told myself is that I was taught to give and give and give, and because that's, both my family and um, my family upbringing and my cultural upbringing and being raised in the Catholic Church and really just the environment in which I was raised in, which led to my programming to think it is better to give than to receive. And when we grow up with that story, and we really take that to heart, sometimes that can interfere with asking, with receiving, with feeling like we're worthy of asking and receiving what we ask for, or even desiring something. And I found with me and my business, I don't always ask. I haven't always asked, and when you don't ask, you don't always get. People aren't just going to say, "Ooh, I've noticed you needed something, and here you go." If you are not asking for the price that you're worth, then very few people are going to say, "You know what? You're worth more. I'm going to pay you more." That product is worth way more. I'm just going to donate money to you and pay you more. And you really need to ask for what you're worth. You need to ask for the right price. And sometimes that's hard. As a business owner, or an executive, or a salesperson, it's hard to make that ask when you don't quite have that story about yourself that you're supposed to ask, that you're supposed to desire to do more and think big and dream big, that you are supposed to give more than you receive. When you have that mindset that you're supposed to give more than you receive, a lot of times you're going to shortchange yourself. Most of the time, you're going to shortchange yourself. So, I struggle with that because even though, I do all this inner work, as a coach, we get coached. The first training is that we coach ourselves, and we go to other coaches, and we make sure that we're as strong as possible so we can be there for our clients. So, inner work is something that we don't just prescribe it for our clients, at least a good coach will. It's something that we constantly do ourselves. And as you do more of the work, you realize that it's a never-ending process of improvement. And it's not that you're always like self-absorbed. It's just, you're self-aware and aware that it's the process, the growth process is life. That is life. We're always evolving. We're always facing new challenges and stretched in different ways and come into different experiences throughout our life. And it's all about how we, rise to the challenge and how we grow from it and how we reflect on it and what we do with that. So circling back to the the stories that we tell ourselves, sometimes that story isn't really who we are. I was by a very awesome coach, Robin Reed, is somebody I connect into on Clubhouse every day. and she challenged me because I was struggling with feeling comfortable with asking. Um, and it's just, I know that's how I was raised, and that's how my family is. The women in my family like to take pride in being strong and being independent and not asking for help. But then she challenged me. So Robin challenged me to do to do 100 asks in 30 days, just to get that new muscle memory for asking for something that we want. And it can be big or it can be small. But the big part about the 100 asks in 30 days is that we write down our asks. As we ask for something, write it down. So I did, and in doing so, I realized that I do ask. They might not be the huge asks of like, I am asking the universe to bless me with success, with abundance. That's an ask that we strive to do, and really feel it in our hearts that we're asking for abundance. But I do ask for things. I call them administrative tasks. I call up, my bank and ask for information about my account. That's an ask. I, called up the yoga studio and asked to reschedule a class. That's an ask. I asked my son to take out the trash. That's an ask. So in doing these exercises, I learned that the story I'm telling about myself, the story I'm telling myself, the thing that's going in my head saying, I don't ask, that's not true. I do ask. So in saying that I am a person that asks, I ask for help and I receive it. In changing that story, it allows me to give myself permission to make bigger and bigger asks. So that's, one example of stories we tell ourselves. Another example would be that I was told as a child that I was very shy. And maybe I was shy, maybe I did have trouble talking to strangers or whatever, but as a small child, we all go through periods of maybe more boldness and more shyness. We're finding our way. But we also absorb a lot of what is being said about us. So if people keep saying, oh, what a shy child, what a shy child, we absorb that. That becomes who we identify ourselves as, and that's who we see ourselves as, who we are. I'm shy. I'm shy. Now, am I shy? I certainly do really enjoy quiet time with myself and to be introspective, but I also feel comfortable talking on video, on connecting with people, whether it's in a large crowd or in a small space, or getting in front of a room full of people and talking. I feel comfortable with that. It's not that my preference. I like to curl up with a good book. I like to reflect, but I'm not shy. And if I'm identifying as shy, then I'm afraid to be seen. I will, not truly step out and be everything I can be if the story I'm telling about myself is that I'm shy. So, it's important that we always question the stories that we're telling about ourselves. When we are struggling with doing something where we're finding that we are taking pause and that we're not necessarily, like we feel resistance doing something, that's a good time to reflect on the story that we're telling ourselves about ourselves, asking ourselves where that comes from and if I can change the script. Is this who I really want to be? Do I want to say a different story about myself regarding this topic? And if the answer is yes, then you just start. If you're feeling resistance, lean into it. If you need help, then ask, and you will get help. You might not get help from the first person you ask, or the second, or the third, but you will get help if you make the ask. Or you might not get the right help, or you might want different types of help, but ask. If you want help, you need help, then just reach out and ask for it. So that is my talk for the day. Hopefully it's helped you, whether it's in business or in your personal life, that you have the power to really ask what story you're telling about yourself, and decide to change the script and identify in a different way that's maybe more in line with where you are today. So again, this is Eva. If you have any additional questions or would like to ask for help, please reach out. You can DM me or contact me through my website. I love to just chat with you about it and see how I can support you. Again, have a beautiful day, and ask yourself what kind of story you are telling about yourself. Bye!